my video every day, and we're kicking off with the 5-part series of how to teach beginners, or at least how I teach beginners, and how I think that you can do certain things that will really enable their progress very quickly. For me, in teaching beginners, and I've taught a lot of beginners, the crucial thing is that they've got to improve quickly. Because if they don't improve quickly, then they get bored, they give up, and you know what? The violin's quite tricky. It doesn't sound good, and their mum complains, or their dad, that it scratches. You know, it's very difficult. So, I'm completely pragmatic about this in my approach, and these 5 videos are a completely pragmatic approach of how to get little Johnny playing the violin really rather well within the first couple of months. I've had many students recently get to grade 2, 3 within 3 or 4 months. It's really quite easy, actually, I think, if you go in the right way. So if you like the idea of that, then carry on watching. Hit the like button, subscribe, bell button, all. You can also follow me at my website, jamesdickinson.co.uk, on Facebook, and also on Instagram, Violin Made Simple. Okay, well, life has certainly been conspiring against me since I said I'd make a video every day in June. I'd sort of hoped to get ahead of myself. But anyway, we'll crack on, and here we are. The first one of the 5-part series of how to teach beginners. Now, as I said in the introduction, you know, we're just trying to be really pragmatic here, because I think initially pragmatic is really important. So, the first thing, clue is in the title, how do we hold the thing? Well, we hold it. Now, we could spend a long time talking about shoulder rests or not, and yeah, that's interesting, or I guess. But basically, for me, violinists, the great violinists, fall into 3 camps. They hold it with their hand, they hold it with their shoulder, or they hold it with a sponge. I don't advise any of my students to use a shoulder rest. If they really must have something, I say get a sponge, put it under your jacket or on an elastic band. Mainly because I don't think it's the right way. A shoulder rest is not the right way to play the violin, really. And it creates more problems, actually, than it solves. It's tempting just to put it on and say, okay, there you go, off you go, you can hold it now. But I don't think that really helps. And holding the violin without a shoulder rest is really not difficult. Go back 50 years, everybody did it. Now, if you do it, the professor's like, God, what, Houdini? But really not. It's really not that difficult. Besides, the most important factor that I think everyone forgets, much more important than the shoulder rest, is the chin rest. Now, that's the bit that I make sure we always get right from the start. And the reason for that is that the violin needs to go on your collarbone here. And this space here needs to now fill this space. And that's key, because if we don't do that, then we're not going to be able to support the violin at all. So we all probably know how to do this, but basically, and there's a video in the link. There's a link for a video in the description where I show how to alter the size, the height of your chin rest. But basically, it involves drinking bottles of wine and cutting up the cork. So I'm sure we can all get on board with that. But yes, so the basic thing to make sure is that this distance is covered. So when we put this under, the head's not down right down like that. It's not up like this. It just fits very, very nicely like this. And then, yes, if the student needs a little bit of extra support there, then fine. I mean, a little Brillo pad or whatever sponge, you know, fine. But I find that most of my students don't really need that. And actually, they learn to hold the violin with the hand pretty quickly. The second really important thing is the angle of the violin. We really have to make sure that the angle of the violin is at 45 degrees, and it's like this from the start. And the reason for this is to do with the rotation of the hand. In order to get all 4 fingers on the string, I can't have my hand flat like this facing me. It's got to be rotated. Now, what you'll find is that if I do that there, I've got to rotate it quite a lot further. And if I do it there, I've also got to rotate it quite a lot further. Actually, the best place to do it is just right there. And what you can do is you can just get them to put their hand on their shoulder like this, on the opposite shoulder. So this is left hand on the right shoulder. Turn the hand like this, and then literally just move the hand over there. And what you'll find then is that's the perfect place to have it. None of this contorting or any of this sort of stuff is really, really necessary. So I think that's the first lesson. So if we, for me, these are the things that we need to concentrate on. We need to get these two things right. And then once we've got those two things right, then I think we're off to a really good start.